Hey guys, today I'm doing my video on morning routines, and morning routines are probably something, if you are into any personal development stuff, you've probably seen videos about that or content about that, and maybe have or haven't implemented that into your life. So I guess I'm here to make the case for it, and not only the case for it, but maybe things you should be doing and how to implement it into your life, because I found it difficult to get into a routine. Just habitually, it was hard for me to get out of bed at times. Just I would hit the snooze button several times, and I find that anytime I do go through a morning routine where I do things that are like helpful and get me ready for the day, I have a much better day. I'm like much happier, much more awake. Yeah. So I think one of the concepts that kind of explains why morning routines are so powerful is Tony Robbins goes through, he explains the concept of priming. So, priming is, they did a study where if you are to give someone, simply just hand them a hot cup of coffee before going through, I believe it was like a um, something where they reported how happy they were after. Totally unrelated to the coffee. They didn't know the coffee was in any way related. One group was handed a hot cup of coffee. One group was handed a cold cup of coffee. The people who got the warmer cups ended up reporting higher levels of happiness, just directly because of the warm connection. And that's what priming essentially does for you. You put yourself into basically just situations or through tasks or rituals that will make you happier or whatever, more productive or more focused in the morning, and then that carries with you throughout the day. So I think some things you can do in a morning routine that I've found to be really helpful are meditation. I did one video on meditation, but there's tons of stuff out there that you can get into on meditation. I would, if you haven't done it before, I would recommend starting with the app Headspace, or just simply sitting for 5 minutes on a timer and paying attention to your breath. Just deep breaths and focus as much on the sensations of your breath as possible. Some other effective things could be journaling. Just that could be a gratitude journal, which I think is really great. It kind of refocuses your mind and your intention on things that you're grateful for, as opposed to if you don't prime yourself in that way, you might get focused on more negative things throughout the day. But if you train your brain to focus on gratitude and things you're grateful for throughout days, you'll notice that you're much more your mind naturally goes toward focusing on things that you are happy about and grateful for, rather than upset about, which I think is a good thing. um, what else? A little bit of exercise is obviously a good thing anytime, and not just, it doesn't have to be something that's like a full on workout. I just do quick push ups, like 10 minutes of just push ups, some core exercises, planks, sit ups, and wall sits. It's pretty basic and simple, but and it's not something that is like pushing me necessarily, but it just gets my body feeling good and ready for the day and used to moving and being pushed a little bit. So I think those are some powerful things. I think there's plenty of other stuff you could implement into your morning routine. There's a book called the Miracle Morning that goes through a 60-minute plan where it's 6 blocks of 10 minutes each. So I think those are great things. That would be meditation, affirmations, visualization, exercise, reading, and there's one other one that I can't remember. But anyway, there are a lot of great things you can do in your morning to make your days better consistently. And if you get into a consistent routine, you're going to have better and better days. And our days make up our weeks, which make up our months, which make up our years, which make up our lives. So if you have better days, you have a better life. Kind of obvious, but we don't necessarily connect those dots always. Let's see, some ways to get yourself into the habit of having a morning routine, because I, for a while, wanted to have one, but struggled to get up when my alarm went off. I struggled to stay consistent with what I was doing. So some ways to get yourself into that. For one thing, with the waking up on time, because this was a struggle for me, and I think is a struggle for a lot of people. Don't try to make yourself wake up earlier, for one thing, and then for another thing, set up your environment, set up your conditions so that it's as easy as possible. Because in the morning, when it comes to getting out of bed, if you're not habitually used to it, it's going to take a lot of willpower. So make it as like low willpower demanding as possible. So I would put the alarm far away so that you have to turn it off. I would have your clothes totally ready. Things like that, so that it's really, you're almost forced to get out of bed. And then as far as getting into the routine, just start easy with things. Start simple. There's a great book by Stephen Guise called Mini Habits. Start with, if someone wants to get in the habit of flossing, he'll recommend floss one tooth per day. And once you start with that easy task, you find that it's really easy to just, I'll just floss the rest of my teeth. And some days, maybe you'll just floss that one tooth, but it gets you into the habit of doing that activity without your brain saying, that task is going to be kind of overwhelming. When it comes to habit formation, just make it something that seems so easy, and that will just carry forward. Cool. Well, it's been like 7 minutes, so I'm gonna cut the video off here. I hope that is helpful for you guys. If you have any questions about this, hit me up in the comments or whatever. Hit me up in the DMs. Cool. Thanks, guys.